Stranger Things'de Vecna'yı canlandıran Jamie Campbell Bower ve Stranger Things dizisinin yaratıcıları, yazarları ve yönetmenleri Matt ve Ross Duffer'la röportaj yaptım.
Were there any characters you wanted to kill in first seasons?
No, I mean, we killed who we wanted to kill, I think. The only character I think was on the chopping block but was saved by an incredible performance was Steve Harrington. You know, the show that you're wearing.
Yeah.
But he was, his character changed completely when we found Joe Keery. Joe Keery was too charming to kill.
I agree. Yeah.
You die, I die.
You die, I die.
And how did you prepare for the final season?
We've been thinking about this final season for a very, very long time. And we've known what the end is, the very end, the last scene for many, many years. But, you know, each season we give ourselves room to let it evolve and change and take lessons from the previous seasons. But this one was a little bit different than others in that we were writing 4 when the pandemic hit. And so 4 and 5 were sort of broken together. So they really are of a piece, each of them. Whereas normally we finish a season and figure it out, but these were written together in a lot of ways. So it's different in that sense, in that when we start the season, everything is in action already, because it really is just picking up right from where season 4 ended.
If we want to stand a chance of surviving, we need to be a team.
What do you think about the final episode? Like, did you finish editing it?
Nah,
Almost. Yes, it's finished. The edit is finished. The edit is locked. We are still finalizing the music and the sound and the color. So, and that will be going on, I think, almost, you know, into December. But we actually just watched it all the way through with sound, and we're very proud of it and excited about it. I think it's recency bias, but I think it's the best episode we've done.
And what do you think people will find nostalgic about 2020s?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, you know, not just our show, but the various shows that came out during this time period. It was a very specific time in Hollywood. Things are changing now, but with, you know, streaming coming on, because we were very early on the Netflix side of things. They only had a few shows when they greenlit. From Netflix onto all these other companies doing these streaming wars. For me, it was really exciting as an artist, because they were giving, people needed shows. And so they were giving shots to people like Matt and I who, you know, haven't had a lot of success. So I think, you know, there were some complaints and whatnot about peak TV, there's too much TV, but I thought there was so much amazing stuff that was produced over the years, and people were really pushing the boundaries of what TV could be. So I think when we look back in this past decade, it's going to be a very specific time for television. I think people will be nostalgic for it ultimately.
And how do you think this release schedule helped the show, 5 seasons in 10 years?
You mean the speed at which we moved?
Yeah.
The rapid fire speed at which we moved. First of all, I mean, it did take longer than we expected it would take. You know, we were hit with a pandemic, and then this year we were hit with a writer's strike. And also, it's just a different type of television that simply is, I mean, the visual effects this year alone are taking about a year. So, you know, you can't get the show released within a year. Production takes about a year, and writing took, I don't know if it took quite a year. You know, the ambition that we have for the show, which is for it to feel like a big blockbuster movie, it simply takes a little bit longer than normal to produce. I wish we could get out faster, but at the end of the day, you go, listen, I just want to make the best show possible, and I think that's more important than rushing it.
The makeup for Vecna is 8 hours long. Did it get shorter this season, or is it the same?
It's no news that obviously Vecna's gone through a bit of a transformation this season. And within that, it certainly became more of a cross-department collaborative experience. Whereas for season 4, I was sort of full prosthesis, full prosthetics. Whereas for this season, you know, what you're seeing is a prosthetic piece from sort of chest upwards. My hand is prosthetic. It cut down to about 4 hours, I believe.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And can you move better with this one, or what are the differences you think?
The movement is the same, because it was something that I, as a performer inhabiting the character, really focused on, you know, as I was approaching season 4 anyway. So in terms of like how I'm moving and what I'm doing, it's very much the same movements.
How does it feel to play Vecna? Like, it's such a dark character. We know his background, but like, how do you get into the space?
You know, there's a lot of like physical work that goes into creating the character as well as mental work as well. And I often describe this idea of him as like this sort of resentful figure. That resentment to me feels like a sort of it's like a vine around the vein of love. So when I was building it for season 4 and between the break of 4 and coming back for Stranger Things 5, it was always just ticking away in the back of the mind. But it's, I mean, once the costume is on, of course, everything is sort of finalized. And I described it this morning as like, I feel like I'm in my full form.
And what about the voice?
The voice is the same. Yeah, the voice is the same. So the voice, I spent a long time working on the voice as well. And it wasn't really until I rediscovered Hellraiser and Doug Bradley as Pinhead that I found kind of where I wanted it to be coming from and the tone of it.
How dare you use that word? Broke so easily.
It was always going to be about the fact that he was very considered in what he was choosing to say and do and how he was choosing to move and where that would come from within my own range. And ultimately it just came from being able to kind of open up and relax the vocal cords and my breathing, and I'm a singer as well, so like that was definitely helpful with it. But yeah, for this season, he is the same old Vecna, just slightly meaner and bigger. Yeah.
And like, finally, what can you say about the final episode? Like, you haven't seen it?
I've seen some of it. I've seen some of it. Yeah, I mean, I've seen most of it really. I think what's important to note is that because I joined the show later on in its evolution, I was already a fan of the show. So it feels to me like a very fitting, as a fan, it feels to me like a very fitting end to a beautiful story that we all know and love.
All right, that's all the time I have.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Yeah, thank you.
Take care.